Good morning, guys. How are you all? Hope all of you are doing well. Today, I'm going to explain morphology and morpheme in brief. Let me just show you my screen so that you can understand well. So first, I hope if you are the student of linguistics, you know very well that what is morphology, right? But let me tell you one thing, that morphology is studied in science also, right? And we study the same morphology in English language also. So before we move to morphemes, first we should know what is morphology. Like when we say this word, this term morphology is actually a Greek word. Okay, it has been taken from Greek language, which has a meaning. Morph means shape. Morph means shape or structure. I mean, it's like form of something. And logy, we know logy means study of anything is called logy. Like if you study about human being, we say anthropology, biology. Okay, so study of anything is called logy, and morph is shape or form. This is Greek origin. Generally, when morphology is studied in zoology, the students study about the shape and the form of animals, right? Or the living things. But here we are studying the language. So what does it mean of, how can we talk about the shape and form of a language? So actually we will talk about the forms and the shape of words in morphology. We study about the forms of words, how words are created, how we can create new words, right? How can words be formed? How can we clip the words to make meaningful units? So in English, morphology means the study of forms or shapes of words, even the internal structure of words. We study everything about words in morphology, in this branch of linguistics. Okay, as we know that linguistics has many branches, and we also know that linguistics is the scientific study of a language. So all the branches of linguistics are studied scientifically. Same, we will study about words scientifically. Fine. So this is also, as I said, it is a study of internal structure of words, and we say that morphology is the study of morphemes. Now, what is morphemes? What comes in our mind when we listen to morphemes? If you don't know, you will not be able to guess. You need to know what is morphemes, right? We also see word formation process in morphology, that how words can be created, how new words can be formed. As we know that English is the richest language of the world, and it keeps on growing. Every year we have some new words, right? So, we have some trends which allows us to create new words, that we will see later. But now let me discuss what is morphemes. So I hope you know, and if you know, don't know, let me tell you. If you have any idea that what is the smallest unit of language, the smallest unit of any language is sound, right? For any language, we should have some particular sound. So we call it phoneme. Okay, like if we are studying English language. So for English language, we have the smallest unit phoneme, like p, b, t, d, k, g, consonants and vowels. To altogether, we have 44 sounds in English language, in which we have 24 consonants and 20 vowels, right? Vowels also like 12 main vowel and 8 diphthongs. But we say that the minimal smallest unit of a language is phoneme, right? But do we have meaning of phoneme? Like if I say pa, ta, k, g, does it give any sense? Of course not. It doesn't have any meaning, right? But it can change the meaning. If we change one phoneme, it can change the meaning, right? Now we will see morpheme. What is morpheme? Morpheme is also the minimal unit of a language, but it has a meaning, it has a sense. Okay, the smallest meaningful unit of a language is called morphemes. Clear? Now, again, don't get confused. Smallest unit of a language, just the smallest unit of a language is phoneme, but morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of a language, means the unit which has some sense, which has some meaning. Any word can be called a morpheme. For example, girl, boy, school, college, any word, any English word can be called a morpheme because it has a sense. The morpheme that you cannot divide anymore, like if you write girl, 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 if you divide it into two parts, will any part of it have any meaning? No, of course not. It will destroy, so it will not be called morpheme. Morpheme means the smallest unit of a language which has some sense, which has some meaning. Okay, now when we see morphemes, morphemes are divided into two categories. Okay, one is called free morpheme and the other is called bound morpheme. Now, what is free morpheme? Free morphemes are those morphemes which can stand alone as a word. Okay, like as I said, any word can be called free morpheme. It is free of anything, so it can stand alone as a word. It can be any word: girl, boy, school, college, come, go. Any word can be a free morpheme, right? Now, what is bound morpheme? Bound morpheme means that cannot stand alone as a word, okay? But it has a meaning when it is attached to a word. For example, if I say girl, 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 girl means we know that one girl, okay, girl. But when we add S with that girl, with that noun, it will be plural girls. When we say girls, it means more than one girl, right? So what happens that uh, S doesn't have any meaning alone. If I say only S, no. But if this S is attached to any noun, it makes a noun plural. So we call it plural morpheme, right? The same way ED. Alone ED doesn't have any meaning, but it has to be attached to a free morpheme in order to give some sense. When ED is attached to help or any other verb, it makes the verb past tense, right? So bound, those are called bound morphemes, which is, which has a meaning when it is attached to a free morpheme. Alone, it doesn't have any meaning. Alone, it cannot stand as a word. But when it is attached to a word, it either changes the tense, either changes the number, or some morphemes changes the meaning as well. Some morphemes, some bound morphemes changes the category as well. For example, okay, like happy means happy, and if you add unhappy, it will be opposite meaning, sad. Okay, the same way, there are many we will see. So some bound morphemes that can change category also, that can change meaning also. It cannot change anything, just change the number. All right, the main thing is that we have two morphemes, free morpheme and bound morpheme. Free morpheme can stand alone as a word, and bound morpheme cannot stand alone as a word. It has to be attached with a free morpheme in order to make any sense. Fine. Now, these morphemes, whether it is free or bound, these are also further subdivided into categories. Free morpheme, first of all, we will see free morpheme is divided into two categories. Number one is lexical morpheme, or we also call it content morpheme, and we also call it open class. Why do we call it open class? That I will let you know at the end. Let me explain you first. For example, if I tell you a sentence, uh, I go shopping, buy new dress. The sentence I spoke is grammatically wrong. But can you guess the meaning? Can you just guess any meaning? If I say I go shopping, rain, come back home, the sentence I said is grammatically wrong, but it has some sense. At least you can guess some meaning that, okay, I might have gone for the shopping, but it started raining, so I came back home. Or when I said previous sentence, like I go for shopping, I go shopping, I go mall, shopping, dress. I go mall, shopping, dress. So again, the sentence is grammatically wrong, but at least one can guess the meaning. It carries the information. One can have the information that, okay, you might have gone to for the shopping and you bought dresses, right? So these are the, if I say I go shopping, I go mall, shopping, dress, if you notice all these words are either noun or verb or adjective, right? So this way, noun, verb, adjective, and adverbs. These are called lexical morphemes, or we also call it content morpheme, which, because it has some content, it has some lexic, it has some lexical aspect, it has some meaning, it carries some meaning. Noun, verb, adjective, and adverb. These are the words alone, it carries some meaning. Okay, it has some sense. So we call it content morpheme or lexical morpheme. Another subdivision of free morpheme is grammatical or functional morpheme. We also call it structural morphemes. We also call it closed morpheme. Now, why it is called closed? Again, at the end, I will tell you. Now, suppose I tell you the sentence, to, is, are, on, in, off. Can you guess any meaning? Anything? Can you, any information if you can take out from the sentence? Nothing. No one can guess any meaning from here, right? So these are the words which are used in order to make sentences grammatically correct. For example, if I say, now if I say, yesterday I went to for the shopping and it started raining, so I came back. Or I will go for shopping to buy a dress. Now this is a complete sentence and grammatically correct sentence. So these are the words, for example, articles, or conjunctions, or helping auxiliary verbs. These are the words which are used to make the sentences grammatically correct, but alone it doesn't have any meaning. That is why we call it grammatical morphemes or functional morpheme. It makes a sentence, gives a structure to a sentence. So we call it structural morpheme, and it functions to make a sentence correct. So it is functional morpheme. Clear? It functions to give a correct meaning to a sentence. Clear? Now, why do we call lexical morpheme open class and grammatical morpheme closed class? If you see any like noun, verb, adjective, and adverb, you will notice that, suppose noun, any noun, if I take pen, we have the option to add any suffix in this in order to make plural. We can say pens, right? If we take verb like help, we can use in continuous form by adding ing, helping. We can write, in past tense, we can use ed to create helped, right? If we take adjective, beautiful, we can add ly in order to create adverb, beautifully. Okay, the same way in adverb also, sometimes we can add some prefix or suffix. So this way, like some like fastly, in adverbs also we can add ly in order to make, adverb, degree adverb that we say. Anyways, so what happens that this way, all these noun, verbs, adjective, and adverb, they are open to add prefix or suffix. We have option to add suffixes in this so that we can create another word. So it is called open class. Okay, now come to closed class, whether it is articles, a and the, whether it is auxiliaries, is, am, are, was, were, have, has, whatever it is. So whether it is determiners or this, that, those, whether it is any what I say, pronouns. Okay, although pronoun is called, it is it comes in semi lexical item, but anyways, so these are the words. It doesn't allow us to add any affix. We cannot add r, a, r, e, r. It is just a word. We cannot create any other word by adding anything in it. The is just the, a and is just. So that is why all these words, all these, categories are called closed class, or we call it closed morphemes. Clear? Now, this was about free morpheme. So free morpheme is divided into lexical and grammatical morpheme. Now we will see bound morpheme. As I say, there are many bound morphemes, which includes S, ES, ED, ing. There are many number of bound morphemes. Now, this bound morphemes are divided into two categories. One is called inflectional morphemes. Okay, and other is called, okay, let me tell you first what is the other one, and then I will make you understand. Other is called derivational morphemes. Now, what is inflectional and what is derivational? Suppose when you add any bound morpheme to any word, and it doesn't change either the meaning or the category of a word, then we call it inflectional morphemes. Okay, for example, like this word, when we see girl, girl is a noun. When we add s in this, it becomes girls. So what happened? The meaning is still the same. Girl means girl. Even girl or girls, it is the same meaning. It is not changing the meaning. And girls is also noun. Even after adding s, the category is also the same. And only what is changed? Only the number is changed. One girl is girl, more than one is called girls. Only singular to plural. Help, if we say help, when we add ed in help, it becomes helped. Okay, so help is verb, helped. After adding ed also, it is verb, no category change. And if we see the meaning, meaning is also the same. What is the meaning of help? The same is the meaning of helped, just in the past tense. It is changing only the tense, nothing else. So this way, any bound morpheme, when it is attached to a free morpheme and it doesn't change the meaning or category of a word, then we call it inflectional morphemes. Okay, now come to derivational morpheme. Any bound morpheme, or we can say any affix, when we attach it to any word, any free morpheme, and after attaching that bound morpheme, that free morpheme changes its form, changes either its category or its meaning, then we call it derivational morphemes. For example, the same word, we will take help. Help is a verb. When we add full in this, full is a bound morpheme, and when we add full in the verb help, then it becomes helpful, and helpful is not verb anymore. After adding full, it becomes adjective, right? So we will say that this bound morpheme full is the derivational morpheme. Clear? Now another example, if I say happy, the word happy, when we add prefix with the word un, and it becomes unhappy. So what do we notice? That happy is adjective and unhappy is also adjective. But meaning, what about the meaning? Do we have the same meaning? No. Un has a negative meaning. Happy means happy, okay, khush, and unhappy means sad, negative meaning, right? So either the bound morpheme either changes meaning or the category. In both the case, it is called derivational morphemes. Clear? So this way we will have morphemes. We can say like this, that morpheme is what? We have two category of morpheme, free morpheme and bound morpheme. Free morpheme has another two category, lexical morpheme and functional morpheme. Lexical like child, teach, noun, verb, adjective, adverb. Functional like and the other, grammatical units. Functional morpheme. And bound morpheme is having derivational morpheme and inflectional morpheme. Inflectional, those bound morpheme that doesn't change any meaning of a word, and derivational, those bound morpheme which changes the meaning or the category of the word. Clear? Now let's see a kind of exercise. Suppose if I asked you to describe a morpheme, like the word girls, okay, how many morphemes it has, first of all. So we notice that the word girls has two morphemes. Okay, what is first? First girl, which is called free lexical morpheme, and then we have S, which is called bound inflectional morpheme, because this S is not changing the meaning or category of the free morpheme, so we call it inflectional morpheme. Okay, and this free morpheme is also called root. This is the root of the word that we cannot further subdivide. Can you subdivide girl anymore? If we divide it, it will not be any, it will not have any meaning. So it will be destroyed. So we call it either free morpheme, or we can also call it root of the word. Okay, stem. Next, unhealthy. If you say this word unhealthy, how many morphemes it has? Unhealthy has three morphemes. First we have un. What is un? Un is bound derivational morpheme, because after adding un, the meaning will change. With any word, when you add un, it gives negative sense. So it is bound derivational morpheme. Health is a free lexical morpheme. We can also call it a root. And e is a bound derivational morpheme, because after adding e, health is a noun, healthy is adjective, right? Unhappily, so un again, un is giving changing the meaning, so it is bound derivational morpheme. Happy is free lexical morpheme, and ly is bound derivational morpheme, because when you add ly to any morpheme, any adjective, it changes it to adverb, so it changes the category of the word as well as the meaning. So we call it bound derivational morphemes. Clear? Carelessness. If we see this word carelessness, again, this word also has three morphemes. First of all, we have care, which is free lexical morpheme. And then we have less. What is this? Less is bound derivational morpheme, and ness is also bound derivational morpheme. For example, if I say just careless, if we do not add ness, we say careless. So care is a verb. I care for you. Care is a verb. Careless, careless is adjective. She's very careless. I am careless. So careless is adjective. But when we add ness to carelessness, so this will become noun. Carelessness. I don't like your carelessness behavior. So carelessness is a noun. Fine. And now together, careless, we call it stem, because the stem, the bound stem, which has further, we can add any affix. So we call it stem. For example, happily, happily could be called stem, in which we have the option to add un also. Unhappily, unhappiness, we can say like that, right? Anyways, so this we can have in detail later on. This is the basic. I just wanted to uh, brief what is morpheme in short. So that's it. Thank you. I would like to stop sharing, but I don't know. Okay, yeah. Actually, I'm very new to this. So see you inshallah in the next class. Take care.